Hey gang, Mocha Boy here. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. So I've got one replay here from our previous war with what I believe was a Korean clan. This was a holo attack, and unfortunately there was no CC in this, but all of the same principles would apply. And I'm going to review a lot of those principles here so you understand how this attack was planned and how many balloons were calculated out to take these down. Now these are level 10 archer towers, and these are level 6 wizard towers. So these each will take one apiece. The only modifier to that is if they are overlapped by air defenses. But even then, if they're just on the edge of them, it's usually just enough, because typically all they have to do is drop one bomb and then themselves, and then that's enough to take out the structure. That's not the case with the cannons. They actually have to drop a couple. So that's one consideration where you may end up having to drop a couple, if the situation calls for it. Now, what's interesting about this base is these exterior air defenses, which at the time I realized I probably should have just wailed on with hogs, but it just didn't occur to me to use them, and I went straight up hollow. Now, I did make a few mistakes with this, and I wanted to cover those mistakes to make sure that you guys don't make them. But again, I split everything up into lanes. I got my kill squad engaged with the Archer Queen very quickly. I got all the defenses taken down in short order, and then managed to punch through into the core once this exterior set of defenses was down. And one of the mistakes that I made, when you'll see on the replay, is that I deployed all of my hogs in one string. And you want to make sure that you're deploying them in at least 2 and sometimes even 3 strings, just to ensure that you're splitting up your assets. If you get unlucky and you just happen to run over the one spot that has double giant bombs, it's game over. The other thing is, if you make it into the core and then you're presented with 4 quad Teslas, especially if they're maxed out, you got to double heal. So that's another thing to consider. Now in this case, can't remember. Well, we'll take a look at the replay and I'll just cover that. So in terms of calculations, because of where these air defenses are, I started down here and then worked my way around this way. So this was, and mind you, where I draw the circles is where I actually deployed the troops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could have done this. I didn't do this. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then I ended up deploying a few extras down here. A Tesla did pop somewhere here, so I had to drop a few extras. And the big takeaway there is, when you do attack your bases, let's say you take 18, just deploy 15, then reassess. If anything pops that you need to take care of, use those extra 3 to take care of those exterior defenses. Once everything's down, you can start your pull, and then in terms of where to do it, typically I put them on a collision course with the Archer Queen. You want to make sure that you take her out as quickly as possible. The Barbarian King, not so worried about, but once you get the witches in the game and they're spawning skeletons, I mean, there's nothing that is better than taking out heroes than skeletons and witches backed up by wizards. So something to consider there. What I ended up doing, because of all of these defenses that were still alive, I ended up deploying my heroes a little early, just to draw fire, and then that gave me enough time to drop my witches behind, along with my wizards. One other thing that I did do is I dropped wizards here, and that was just to clear all this trash down to here to keep the kill squad focused on moving through the base like that. Okay, so as the attack starts, I'm off in the bottom left-hand corner, dropping a boatload of balloons to make sure they all survive that air defense. I get the southeast going, and then I start working my way counterclockwise throughout the base, skipping the air defenses. There were a couple of things that popped that I wasn't able to take out, but I was able to get them later with the hogs. So at this point, you can see that one of the mistakes that I had made was I over-deployed a lot of the balloons. For some reason, I thought I needed 2 for a few of them, but ended up only needing really just 1. And you can study this to see which ones only needed 1. So at this point, I'm reassessing where I need to attack, and I realize that I should probably just start my attack up in the bottom, up in the top right-hand corner. Just really what I'm doing is just checking to see that there's no extra defenses that were laid up. So dropped my Barbarian King to start drawing fire. This is where I started to lose track of because there's a lot of activity going on right now, but dropped the Barbarian King. Really what I needed to do was pop his ability right now, but he went down faster than I thought he would. And dropped a few hogs just to take care of that air defense, but dropped my balloons too soon, so they were useless in that respect. But I did manage to take out those 3 defenses. The wizards on the top and bottom are clearing those channels. I've got my 20 hogs now rolling through the base. One of the things that I did not account for was that there might be double giant bombs in the core of the base, and that's exactly what happened. So that I lost that part of the crew right there, unfortunately. And I've got the other group, which is only 3, believe it or not, 3 or 4 hogs doing the rest of the work here. So just a bit of perspective there. I brought 20, but the ones that made it into the core were about 17, and of those 17, only 3 of them survived. And they were actually enough to take out the rest of the core of defenses there, along with 3 additional defenses outside. But at this point, once those are all down, it's really just up to the kill squad and the heroes to finish cleaning up the base. But since the Archer Queen is down, it's really just about the Barbarian King, and the Archer Queen's more than enough to take him out at this point. So yeah, and that's the way it went down. Again, I made a couple of mistakes. Deployed the kill squad in the wrong order. I don't know what I was thinking dropping the balloons as soon as I did before the AD was still alive, and I dropped the balloons before that went down. But all in all, it ended up working out. Yeah, so did that for 3 stars.